Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Friendship Pearson, and welcome again to my channel. It is Saturday. Happy Saturday, April 5th of 2025, 10:10 in the a.m. Pray you guys have a beautiful day in the Lord. Let's say it together. Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. Well, people, I brought to you two videos yesterday, well, actually three, and one of them was Obama on the Horizon spoke to sold-out crowd. In this video, I asked the question, was this the time that Barack Obama would reappear? And I do believe he is the Antichrist. With the conditions that we have around the world, WAR, economy, you name it, is he about to make a move? Also, I did this video, Sinister Plot, my Lord. They had to know, sinister plot, where I talked about at the end of the video how I do believe Walgreens and CVS, other department stores, and all the big wigs, they knew that a day like this would come in terms of tariffs and high inflation. And they deliberately built all these stores, just like the federal government grew, and our budget grew, our debt grew, particularly during the Biden administration. All these people hired, hundreds of thousands of people hired in government, and God knows how many millions of people hired in business, in the private sector, all based on a fake economy. You see, people, because we are $36.5 trillion in debt, at least $36 trillion in debt. And it was a fake economy. Then I showed in this same video how when you go to these department stores and convenience stores like Walgreens and CVS, a lot of things are locked up. But they've been locked up, depending on what city you're in, the last 2 to maybe 4 years. We were told, because of theft, because of drug addicts and things like that, they had to lock everything up inside the Walgreens and CVS and places like that. But I speculate, no, it's for now. You see, because none of the tariffs have kicked in, guess what? I think they're planning for the ordinary citizen who wants to survive to go into these stores and take things. This is what I believe that's why I believe allegedly they knew ahead of time. So I want you to follow me on something, because you guys lit up my emails last night about economics around the world and what you see. And then I got to thinking, I said, you know what? The book of Ecclesiastes does say that things season and cycle. There's nothing new under the sun. Well, people, a few of you all sent information on Grover Cleveland and how back in the day, there was an economic crisis. I'm like, yeah, Grover Cleveland was the first non-consecutive president of the United States. And during that period, he had an economic crisis. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, it was a depression. But let me get into that, because I want to show you some numbers. Are we en route to that again? Because when you go on social media right now, people are saying, look, don't panic. The market's crashing, but don't panic. Here's what to do. 401k, don't panic. I don't know, people. Check this out.
She told the White House butler, take good care of all the furniture. We're coming back 4 years from today. 4 years later, in 1893, they did. The American people had missed Cleveland's dedication to limited and honest government. His moment of vindication, however, didn't last long. When the railroad boom went bust...
Now, this is Grover Cleveland. He had lost his position as president, as the 22nd president, and came back 4 years later. And his wife says, hey, keep the furniture in good standing, we'll be back. play it for you again. Grover Cleveland. In his second term, that's when he ran into economic woes. Woes. Are we headed there again?
Today. 4 years later, in 1893, they did. The American people had missed Cleveland's dedication to limited and honest government. His moment of vindication, however, didn't last long. When the railroad boom went bust and commodity prices collapsed, the panic of 1893 was on. It was the worst economic depression in American history until the Great Depression of the 1930s. The panic completely overwhelmed Cleveland's second term. His party believed that the way out of the crisis was to coin more silver. But Cleveland had always been a strong defender of the gold standard. He wasn't going to change now. By the time 1896 rolled around, Cleveland no longer represented the views of his own party. Their loyalty had shifted to people like William Jennings Bryan, the leader of the pro-silver movement. It was a sad ending to an admirable political career. He had been defeated twice, first by Harrison and then by the economy. And yet Cleveland is a sterling example.
So yeah, that's what he went through in his second term. Are we en route to that again? Let's get some more detail.
By economic issues, including the Panic of 1893, which led to a severe economic depression during his second term. Grover Cleveland's presidency was marked by economic issues, including the Panic of 1893, which led to a severe economic depression during his second term.
Now let me say this to you. Grover Cleveland was anti-tariff, where Trump is pro-tariff. I'll show you that in a little bit.
Grover Cleveland was the 22nd and 24th President of the United States. Imagine the only president to pull off a split-term comeback. But it's not just his unique terms that make him cool. During his second term, he faced the Panic of 1893, a massive financial crisis. Banks collapsed, people lost jobs, and the economy was in shambles. Cleveland acted fast. He repealed the Sherman Silver Purchase Act to stabilize the currency and convinced Congress to authorize the sale of government bonds. His actions definitely weren't popular with everyone, but they helped restore international confidence in the US economy. So next time you think of Grover Cleveland,
could we be facing this again? Bank holidays and everything else. Should we pull money out of the bank to get by the next few months? Are we back at that moment again?
Grover Cleveland, 1892. Grover Cleveland made history not once, but twice, by serving non-consecutive terms as the 22nd and 24th U.S. President. His first victory in 1884 ended decades of Republican dominance. However, in 1888, despite winning the popular vote, he lost the presidency to Benjamin Harrison due to the Electoral College. Rather than fade away, Cleveland stayed politically active. By 1892, dissatisfaction with Harrison's administration gave him another shot. Running on a platform of economic reform and anti-corruption, Cleveland decisively defeated his rival, becoming the only president in U.S. history to make such a dramatic return. Grover Cleveland.
To understand the parallels, let's go back to the late 1800s. Grover Cleveland, a Democratic reformer, entered office in 1885. He was popular for his honesty and his dedication to fighting corruption. But Cleveland also faced in America an economic transition. New industries were booming, and tariffs were the hot topic. Tariffs, or taxes on imported goods, were the government's main source of revenue. Republicans wanted high tariffs to protect American businesses, but Cleveland and the Democrats argued that these tariffs were inflating prices and hurting ordinary Americans. Positioning himself as the voice for consumers, Cleveland pushed for tariff reform to lower the cost of goods. But his stance wasn't popular with manufacturers, setting the stage for a tight race in the 1888 election.
Isn't that something? He was anti-tariff. This video, I'll put in the link. From Cleveland to Trump, the battle. Isn't that something? Look at history. Joe Biden, November 20th, 1942. Benjamin Harrison, August 20th, 1833. Why do I pull this up? Well, Benjamin Harris ran against Grover Cleveland. You understand? Grover Cleveland, Benjamin Harrison. Okay? Here we have it right here. Benjamin Harrison, Grover Cleveland. When the electoral college vote came in, modern day, Benjamin Harris would be who? That would be the opposite of what today is. I want you to understand how deep this is. This is Trump of today, who lost, had to go out and come back. This, my friend, is whom? This is Joe Biden. Look, I want you to understand. And they needed 201 votes in electoral college. Joe Biden beat him first time around. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's how I'm looking at it. So when we look at them, let's look at their birthdays. August 20th, 1833, Harrison. August 20th, I made it 2026 versus Biden, 11/20 of 2025. There are exactly 274 days between Harrison and Biden. Now, this is gonna knock your socks off. Benjamin Harrison. The 274 could be what? In 274 AD, that's when Rome went back to start worshiping the sun god Sol Invictus. Isn't that something? The invincible sun, unconquered sun. 274. The difference between these two presidents, Biden, Harrison. Biden is the modern day Harrison. Beat him the first time. He beat Trump the first time, so to speak. The difference is the sun god, 274. Now wrap your mind around this. Here's 313. 313, what is that? 313, 1901, that's when Benjamin Harrison died, 313. Take 313, 2025, subtract it from Joe Biden's birthday, 11/20 of 2025, you get 88. What is Trump's text number? 888022, is that coincidence? Now look at this. Trump's birthday, 6/14. Grover Cleveland's birthday, March 18th. The first split-term president, March 18th. Take March 18th, 2025, from Trump's birthday, 6/14, 2025. The difference is 88 again. Look at these parallels, people. Trump's text number is 88022. Now look at this. 6/24, 2024. 6/24 is the death date, 6/24 of Grover Cleveland, 6/24. So we take 6/24 of 2024, subtracted from Trump's birthday, 6/14, 2025. The difference is 55. 50 weeks, 5 days. So Grover Cleveland's death date is exactly 50 weeks and 5 days from Trump's birthday. When you drop the 0, you get 55. Julius Caesar was 55 years old. Now watch this here. Grover Cleveland's first time in office as president was March 4th, 1885. Take March 4th, 2016 versus Trump's first time in office, 1/20 of 2017. The difference is 322, skull and bones, or 46 weeks, which is destruction. It's deep, y'all. Now watch this. Grover Cleveland's second time in office. Remember, he was the Trump of that moment. March 4th, 1893, second term, Grover Cleveland, 3-4. Take 3-4, 1893, the exact year, versus Trump's second time being inaugurated was January 20th of 2025. The difference is what? Look at that. 131 years, 322. 322 is skull and bones. Isn't that something? Now, check this out. I want you to see something. Trump being inaugurated was 1/20 of 2025. This is Grover Cleveland winning the second time on 3/4/1893. It's also 660. It's 6881 in weeks. Isn't that something? 6,881 weeks between Trump's inauguration and Grover Cleveland's last inauguration. What is 6881? I took 6881 divided by Trump's age of 78, and I got 88 again, like Trump's text number, 88022. Fascinating. Now look, this is the panic. And are we in panic mode right now with the economy? I would say yes. God give us long suffering and grace. That's all I can say. As panic spread following the collapse of Philadelphia and Reading Railroad, a May 1893 bank run throughout the nation left the financial system with even less resources. Cleveland believed that bimetallism encouraged the hoarding of gold and discouraged investment from European finances. Now check this out. The Panic of 1883, a significant financial crisis, began in early May of 1893 with a key event being the bankruptcy of National Cordage Company of May 5th. Isn't that something? May 5th. So they're saying May 5th, 1893. May 5th, 1893. Take May 5th, 1893 literally from 3/4 of 1893 when Grover Cleveland became president again. The difference is 201. Grover Cleveland becoming president the second time versus the panic of 1893. The difference is 201. You guys who are up on it, remember, 201 is significant. There was something happened that was important back in the day when 201 was up there. I'm gonna give you a word. There's your word. That, with that, it wasn't good, was it? Are we repeating history? Look, it was May 3rd, 1893. The Panic of 1893 triggered by the stock market crash of May 3rd, 1893. May 3rd. It says that it began in February 1883 and officially ended 8 months later, but the effects from it continued to be felt all the way to 1897. Could we be headed towards something short-term having long-term ramifications? And the recession went all the way to 1897. We're talking 4 years throughout the whole administration. Could it happen during Trump's period? And you know, the powers, they love to take advantage of crisis. They don't let a crisis go to waste. What would happen during that period if it happens? We need God's mercy. So look here. Grover Cleveland advocated for lower taxes, arguing they raised prices, enriched the wealthy, and fostered inefficiency, a position that contrasts with the Republican practitioner's stance. Isn't that something? So Grover Cleveland was anti-tariff back in the day, but Trump is pro-tariff. Let's read some history. 1893, in this period, there was increasing public concern about abandonment of the gold standard, leading to attempts by banks and the public to accumulate gold. Cleveland becomes the first president to serve 2 non-consecutive terms. His inauguration address focuses on tariff for public revenue, sound currency, and civil service reform. So that's the history. You can check that out, the American Presidency Project. Then I did this in one of my videos yesterday. President Donald John Trump, 47 tariffs equal 222. That's the beast system and the Antichrist system, 222. And then we had the first bank holiday in the United States was declared by President Franklin D. Roosevelt, March 6, 1933. What do you think, people? That was May 6th, first bank holiday. You take March 6, 1933 versus today's date of 4/5/2025. Guess what? That's 11,005 months ago. I'm gonna say it again. The first bank holiday was 3/6 of 1933, and today's date is 4/5 of 2025. The difference is 11,005 months ago. Trump became president. Nomination for what? November 5th. November 5th of last year, Trump became president. He won the popular vote. Isn't that something? And let me see if I can find something else here. What was that? SBC Bank a few years ago? What date and year did SBC Bank collapse?
According to Wikipedia, on March 10th, 2020.
Okay, so I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Let's see if we can find something right quick. Let's see if we can put this in the calculator. This was 3/10 of 2023. 3/10 of 2023. Remember we had that bank collapse not too long ago? 3/10/2023. And today is 4/5. Tariffs went into effect a few days ago. Let's see what happens here. 4/5. Wow. This is what we have. Collapse of Silicon Valley Bank, 3/10 of 2023. 3/10 of 2023 versus today's date, 4/5/2025, 2 years and 27 days ago. See if I see anything here. What else could I be looking at? Wow, this is deep. So 758 days ago, not too far ago, people, we had a bank go out of business. Will there be something that would trigger? I don't know. We just have a bad time right about now. But yeah, I'll put in the comment section. My mind is all over the place. The last bank to go insolvent was started. That's what began it. And then today we got this here. 2 years, 27. What else could we look at in terms of time? I'm kind of brain locked right now. I had something I wanted to see if I could connect to it, but I don't think. You guys put in the comment section, let me know what you think. But right now I cannot call it. All right, people, I appreciate you guys. That's a little history from Grover Cleveland versus Donald Trump, and Grover Cleveland also in relation to Joe Biden. Tell me what you think. Are we on the verge of a collapse? Anything could make it happen. And how long you think it will be if it happens? Let's just stay prayed up, and we'll count on the Lord to get us through. Thank you.